All right, we're recording. All right, hello and welcome everyone to our GLSec at Home talk. I'm Jeff Williams and I'm your host for tonight's talk. The pandemic has not only changed how we work, but it's also made us rethink how we network and learn. Our hope is to get everyone together soon in person for the next Great Lakes Software Excellence Conference. But until then, with the support of Software GR, GLSec will be hosting one event a month just like this one. This is GLSec at Home. And then we play music and it's really cool. All right, we cannot do any of this without the support of our sponsors because we want all of you to know about the companies that West Michigan software development community supports through Software GR. Each talk will be hosted by one of our wonderful supporters. Hosting allows our sponsors to talk directly to our community, showcase their company, and share what they bring to West Michigan, even beyond our neck of the woods. Make sure you check out our sponsors in more detail after the talk. If you want to become a sponsor, please let us know. Software GR works because of your support. Our sponsor for today is Atomic Object. So Atomic is the premier custom software design and development consultancy in the Midwest. We work with clients ranging from entrepreneurs to Fortune 100 companies. With offices in Chicago, Ann Arbor, and Grand Rapids, and over 70 makers, we are ideally suited to build the right piece of software the right way. Atomic is also a founding member of Software GL and GLSec. All right, so now getting to our speaker, I am pleased and lucky to introduce Mike Marsiglia. Mike is a co-CEO of Atomic Object. Mike became Atomic's first full-time software developer hire way back in 2003. So he has lots of experience in the software industry, especially in Michigan. Over the years, he's held various other roles in the organization. He has been key in developing Atomic's employee share purchase program, expanding Atomic's value chain, opening the Ann Arbor office, and launching the Career Accelerator program he is going to be talking about. With a degree in computer science from Grand Valley and an MBA from the University of Massachusetts, Mike is one of the smartest and caring people I know. I'm now going to turn it over to him.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate the nice introduction. I'm excited to present today. Before I get started, I have a quick question. Let's see if I can get my slides to work. All right, can everyone see my slides, I'm assuming? So what do these two characters have in common? Go ahead and just submit some guesses via chat.
Can you see your chat window, Mike?
I can see it.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. Big noses. They do both have big noses, but that's not what I'm looking for. Love of honey. Maybe. Let me give a hint. Drawings. Yeah, there we go. They both have on red clothes. So here's my hint. These are the characters. You probably all knew this was Winnie the Pooh. Maybe some of you knew this was Alexander the Great. Some didn't. So maybe that helps a little bit. So now what do they have in common? Three names in one, that's good. They have the, yes, they share a middle name, that is correct. It's a little after 6 p.m. at this point, and we've all worked a full day. So this question has absolutely nothing to do with my presentation today. I just figured it'd be a fun way to get everyone thinking a little bit before we got started. So thanks for humoring me with my bad dad joke. So hi everyone, as Jeff said, thank you for coming to this talk today. My name is Mike Marsiglia and I'm the co-CEO of Atomic Object. Today I'm going to introduce Atomic and then share the story of our Career Accelerator program. During the presentation, I'm going to outline why we created the program, what the program entails, details around how it works, and lessons learned. We'll have time at the end of the talk for questions as well. So starting, who the heck is Atomic Object? For those of you who don't know, we're a software design and development consultancy that has offices in Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, and Chicago. We've been around since 2001 and we're 100% employee owned. We primarily build products that are on the revenue side of our clients' profit and loss statements. And we occasionally build products that enhance internal efficiencies for our clients. Just a quick brief overview, we develop products for large clients like Delta Airlines to help them track catering inventory with suppliers to ensure flights have the right supplies. We also help smaller organizations like Art Prize and the 500,000 art voters that come to Grand Rapids find what they're looking for and participate in the event by voting. We write firmware and software for mid-sized companies like Microline that inspects pipelines for microfractures. The device on the left side there is called a PIG. It travels at about 30 miles an hour through a pipeline propelled by the natural gas or oil in that pipeline. We have 73 employees total working in our offices. At Atomic Object, we call our employees atoms. If you've ever taken a chemistry or physics class, I'm sure you can kind of pick up on the theme. We've used the play on words quite a bit. Our parties, we call them spin downs. Our monthly newsletter is called the nucleus. We try and avoid project meltdowns. And in addition to being pun masters, we're also a purpose-driven organization. I want to talk a little bit about that too, because it's important to how we came into our career accelerator. So Atomic's purpose is to be a source and a force. A source for fulfillment of our atoms and a force for good for our clients and our communities. So let me unbundle that a little bit. Like Jeff said earlier, I have a CS degree and also an MBA. So I like both logical completeness and 2x2 matrices. So let's discuss this 2x2 matrix a little bit. The x-axis, can you get, hopefully people can see my pointer, our fulfillment through your job from low to high. So when someone is employed by a company, they get paid for doing the job. In return for that pay, the company gets work done. Pretty simple concept. If you stop the value exchange at time for money, you basically have a transactional relationship. If a job relationship is transactional, I would argue that the employee gets very little fulfillment through their job. They just get a paycheck. In all, we spend roughly half of our adult waking hours at work. And we believe that employees deserve more than simply a paycheck for their time. They deserve fulfillment through their job. High fulfillment through their job means the opportunity for everyone to be productive and contribute, have strong connections to others, receive affirmation, respect, and recognition, and be part of something larger than themselves. Now let's look at the y-axis, force for good. We've set a goal to be a 100-year-old company, and being a force for good is the moral foundation of that goal. Being high on the force for good axis means we're doing things to support more than just our shareholders. It means it means really understanding and supporting all of our stakeholders. For Atomic, we think about the good that the products we create in the world do, the people we employ, and the communities we live in. We're certainly not always perfect, but our North Star is working towards being both a source of fulfillment and a force for good. Our longevity and sustained success has gotten us noticed. Touching on a few of these awards, in 2018, we became a certified B Corporation. For those of you who don't know, B Corporation distinction kind of is to business what fair trade certification is to coffee, or what USD organic certification is to milk. B Corps are for-profit companies certified to meet rigorous standards of social and environmental performance, accountability, and transparency. Choosing to be a B Corp means we value more stakeholders than simply our owners, and it's really a public declaration of our desire to be a force for good. In 2018, we were also recognized by Small Giants as one of the 25 standout worldwide small businesses. In order to sustain our success, we need to continue to provide top-notch value to our clients. That implies we need both a great process, but more importantly, an outstanding team. This is a picture from our all-company conference, Atomicon. It's cliche, but our atoms are the most important part of Atomic. If our people walked out the door tomorrow, we'd be left with very little. Growing and nurturing our team is important to our success and vital to our goal of being around in 100 years. So why the accelerator? Hiring, onboarding, and developing folks is hard work. If this presentation was in person right now, I'd ask for a quick show of hands from everyone who's completely satisfied with their hiring, onboarding, and people development practices. My assumption is many of you would not raise your hands. And the reason is hiring, onboarding, and people development is a challenging problem. It requires effort and investment. The Atomic Career Accelerator program is our answer to finding, onboarding, developing, and encouraging top engineering talent at Atomic Object. The program is both a systematic and values-aligned solution. We found that it not only infused our organization with some outstanding hires, but also strengthened our already top-notch culture. So, quick disclaimer before I dig in too deep. The Atomic Object Career Accelerator program that I'm going to discuss today isn't our only hiring strategy. We still hire senior developers, designers, and delivery leads. Our business model at Atomic is based on having a mix of experience across all levels. My presentation today explicitly focuses on our Career Accelerator program, which is designed for recent college grads. So before I dive into the details of our program, I want to start by discussing the story of why we created our program, because I think that's a really important piece. So the year was 2015. And the economy for tech was booming, and so was the job market. It seemed like there were interesting opportunities for talented developers everywhere. I'm sure many of us lived through that time, and a lot of that time has continued on even till today. We are very fortunate to be in the industry that we're in. In 2015, Atomic experienced almost 30% turnover. 30% turnover was a huge shock for us. Managing transition after transition was really taking a toll on our team, our business, and frankly, me personally. We had internal morale that needed to be addressed and clients that needed to be serviced. So we responded with the normal play given the circumstances. We created a hiring team. We advertised on various job boards. We triaged the applicants, and we sought to make outstanding hires. Sounds easy, right? I'm sure many of you have been down this path. We had a difficult time finding people that were the right fit for Atomic. We were getting candidates that either had strong technical ability or strong consulting or interpersonal skills. And in order to be successful, we really needed both. It was an agonizing year. In all, in 2015, we lost 13 makers. We spent 2,200 internal hours on hiring. We hired 10 new folks. And within 2 years, 5 of the 10 that we hired were no longer with Atomic. We did make some outstanding hires that year who are still with us. However, when I critically looked and evaluated at the situation, we had spent an incredible amount of time, energy, and effort on hiring. And frankly, the results didn't match our effort. Honestly, if I had to be really honest with ourselves, we had a losing and unsustainable hiring and onboarding strategy. As a leader in the organization, I personally felt like a bit of a failure. But as bad as it sounds, we hadn't quite hit rock bottom yet. So I love this quote by Winston Churchill: "Never let a good crisis go to waste." It really helps your brain shift challenges, I think, to opportunities. In October of 2015, our situation hit rock bottom, at least for me, but maybe only for a brief second. Jesse Hill, who's likely in the crowd today, was working as a developer at Atomic at the time. And Jesse pulls me aside to let me know that he's going to be leaving Atomic to take a job at his friend's company. When he told me this, my heart immediately sank. Jesse had been a great software developer and at Atomic. Moreover, he had a ton of experience from his years at IBM. He was well-liked, technically smart, and a good consultant. He was exactly who we had been struggling to hire. Kind of after absorbing the initial blow, I looked him in the eyes and I just told him no. After exchanging a confused look back at me, I started to discuss with him the concept for a career accelerator program and how he was absolutely the right person to make it happen. This is the moment I realized that people don't want a job. And I think this is a really important point. They want an opportunity. And this was the perfect opportunity for Jesse. 2 days later, my partner, Sean Crowley, Jesse, and I whiteboarded out the concept, value proposition, and initial plan for the Atomic Career Accelerator. So what is the Atomic Accelerator? I want to start by sharing our promotional video to give you a quick feel before I dive into the details. Hopefully this works. Looks like it's working.
I was pretty nervous at the end of school before starting this job. I hadn't done much software development in college. I had done computer science, but not very many things like developing web apps or mobile apps. So I was a bit nervous about where I was coming in terms of experience, but then that all went away very quickly as soon as I realized like I'd be working side by side with more senior people.
The Atomic Accelerator program is a program for recent college graduates, and it's full-time employment, but with an extra layer of professional development to kind of ease into their new career and fill in the gaps for anything that they might not have learned in college.
It's a real advantage to kind of learn the ropes, get comfortable. We're trying to smooth over that transition from life of school to a life of work.
I thought that maybe I'd just be learning how to program better, but I think I've learned in the Accelerator program a lot more than just technical skills.
We've really found that it levels people up a lot sooner than we even expected. We hoped it would create really great polished consultants as quick as possible. People's ability to accelerate their career has exceeded what we even anticipated.
I love being able to work with people that I really actually do care about, and I believe that actually care about me. It's just a fun thing to do that.
It can be easy when you first join a company to become very siloed in your responsibilities, but I feel like the Accelerator program gives me the larger picture of the company.
Everyone knows what it's like starting out. We've got a lot of people who just did the same thing and know exactly what it's like, and everyone's on the same page of supporting you and making sure the job goes as well as it can go.
So the Accelerator is really a cohort-based model. It's similar to things you would find in a law or accounting firms. It's a 2-year professional development program designed for software developers beginning their careers. At Atomic, we hire in cohorts of 3 to 5 people per geographic location. We target individuals who have graduated with a computer science or related bachelor degree. Here's the original set of business success metrics that we defined for the program. First, we wanted a reliable and predictable way to add outstanding new team members. The yearly cohort model does a really nice job of decoupling hiring from the acute need of adding headcount at any given time. And each year we determine a given cohort size based on what a geography needs. The program must be something that we all would have loved to be part of. We felt like this was one of the most important pieces. It's vital for us that the program is seen as a prestigious thing. And we need to always feel like it's something that would have been amazing for us to go through as inexperienced developers. I try and put myself in the shoes of someone just graduating school. What would have been the thing that I would have wanted that would have really helped jumpstart my career? We need to foster and grow the leaders of tomorrow. Like I said earlier, we have a goal of being a 100-year-old company, and that means we need to be vigilant about developing the leaders for tomorrow. It's an opportunity, not a job. Like I said before, new Accelerator members should view an offer as an opportunity to really accelerate their careers, not just simply another job. Finally, it needs to be value aligned. We have 6 core values at Atomic, and those values embody who we are. And for something to last the test of time, we needed to lean on those values when creating the program. This program is true to all of our values, but it especially embodies 2 of them. The first one is our value of think long-term. So we want to build things that meet our needs for the future. think long-term applies to both our high-level program design and the intentionality of growing the right team for the future. Hiring a cohort of new grads is a long-term play, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more later. The next is our value of teach and learn. This is really the main value that makes the program hum and keeps everyone interested. As we all know in this group, software moves fast, and we're always learning and honing our craft. We intentionally spread it around so at Atomic, everyone's gets smarter. We call this community Atomic Brain Trust. It's everyone's collective energies together, sharing and learning from each other. And the Accelerator program, what it really does is it puts smart, curious, energetic, and inexperienced developers into our team at a regular cadence. So what I find is these folks are really the definition of hungry learners. And this dynamic has created an evergreen opportunity for our more experienced team members. It gives them an opportunity to teach and mentor. I think it's really magical because the Accelerator members, they're so smart, and they are able to just quickly absorb teachings and then provide nearly immediate leverage to their more experienced colleagues on projects. And I don't know about you, but like when you're the more experienced person working with someone like a little more junior, and you show them a little bit and then all of a sudden get a whole lot out, that feels really, really good. And we see that a lot. The program is really composed of 4 major components. The main component is client project work. So when the accelerator comes in, like the majority of an accelerator member's time is spent working on a client project with more experienced team members. So we're not putting all of the accelerators on one client project. We're spreading them out to keep very balanced teams of experience levels. This hands-on experience, like working on the team, provides the best environment for learning Atomic's tools and development practices. The Accelerator program is not a glorified internship. Like as you heard in the video, Accelerator members are full-fledged Atomic team members with the same responsibilities and benefits as their peers. We have very high expectations for our Accelerator members. We expect Accelerator members to provide strong value to our clients. This means we expect them to bring a positive attitude and full effort each day, prioritize project ramp-in over other professional development work when necessary, take an active role in getting the mentorship they need to grow as a maker, and work with their team to learn all aspects of their project's code base rather than just becoming a specialist in one area. We really want people to have a holistic understanding, not only of software development, but the projects they're on. That's really important. The second program component is group facilitated learning. So we have 3 different types of group facilitated learning that goes on. The first is reading. So this one's pretty basic, right? We ask all Accelerator members to read approximately 1 pre-selected book each month. And these books span a vast range of topics. We not only read books about programming and software design, but also books about influencing others, having difficult conversations, and team leadership. Like what we find is a lot of folks will come out of their academic degree and they'll have a really good baseline understanding of technology and software best practices from a theoretical sense. And what we're really looking to do is we're looking to round that out. And we're also looking to add in some things that are some of the softer skills, some of the team dynamic skills. I always think it's funny because truly the soft skills are actually the hard skills, and we want to teach those. The second type of group facilitated learning is discussions. Each cohort meets once a week for group discussions, and the discussions rotate between the most recent book, group member presentations, guest presentations from other atoms on a variety of topics, and other activities of interest to the group. The final group facilitated learning is what we call expeditions. Expeditions are out of the office experiences, a little more difficult to pull off with COVID going on. But in a non-COVID world, Atomic invests a lot in our Accelerator members in these expeditions. We look to create interesting opportunities for them to learn and spend time getting to know each other. We take the cohorts to national software conferences. on excursions to other friendly software development firms in different cities. We'll commonly take a trip to Chicago. I know a handful of different companies there that will go and visit and just see how they work and operate. And that's always fun to do. And we take them to a welcome weekend. And a welcome weekend is a 2-day offsite with their managing partners, the folks that run their office, Sean and myself. And during welcome weekend, we share company history, long-term goals for the company. And then we also talk about individual hopes and dreams for the Accelerator members and new hires. The third component of the program is personal exploration. So each Accelerator member brings different skills, experiences, and interests to the table. And I think it's really important to lean into those interests. Personal explorations are organized as follows. Accelerator members choose a focus for each month. The focus could be a technical subject, interpersonal skill, building their network, or other professional skills, right? It could be a variety of different things, just like what do they want to learn? Accelerator members practice their consulting skills by submitting their proposal to their Accelerator manager for approval. So they kind of make a pitch for like the type of work they're going to do. And then they present their work each month in group discussion meetings. And this is a great opportunity to polish their presentation skills and benefit from other cohort members' work. We've seen a variety of personal explorations, from building an iOS app to learning our sales process to better understanding personal time management. It's really, it's a grab bag of different things. We found that allowing our Accelerator members to choose their focus area greatly increases their engagement. We didn't start in this way. We started by making these more assigned, and over time we learned we should really give Accelerator members some optionality here. The final program component is coaching and feedback. So feedback is facilitated regular meetings with the Accelerator member, the Accelerator manager, and the Accelerator member's client project team lead. The feedback ensures that the Accelerator member is being recognized and appreciated for their hard work. That's a very important part of it. We're getting good data on where the Accelerator member is crushing their work and where their skills could use polish. We're aligning the Accelerator members' professional development efforts with their team's priorities when necessary, and we're identifying any missing expectations early when the gaps are easy to address. We found that information flows 2 ways during these meetings. These meetings have been a great opportunity for our team leads to level up their ability to provide actionable feedback. And we learned through this process that was an area of growth within our organization. So a cool opportunity for some of our more senior folks to up their game as well. Coaching is distinct from feedback. Coaching is regular one-on-one meetings between the Accelerator member and the Accelerator manager. So initially, coaching sessions are designed to help with onboarding, expectations, practices, history, culture, kind of all the questions you have when you're new to a company. Also gain perspective on team dynamics, client interactions, plan annual and quarterly goals, discuss personal exploration plans, explore and evaluate the opportunities on the Accelerator members team, within the company, or in the community. Eventually, what we find with these coaching relationships is after time, they start to shift, and the Accelerator member becomes more of the driver in these conversations. They decide what's discussed during the coaching sessions. And we encourage this Accelerator members to take advantage of the time with their manager and think critically about the areas they have questions, and also where they'd like to grow and what concerns they have. The coach's job is to share perspective, experience, suggest resources, and provide accountability. So we have a solid program, but to make it work, we need outstanding Accelerator members. And we feel the best way to guarantee top talent is to make sure that lots of folks know about the program. We do that through teach and learn inspired recruiting. So we recruit from various local universities using various thought leadership tactics. We do things like give guest lectures on special topics. We host college groups at our office for tours. We attend all the traditional job fairs. But our real signature recruiting event is what we call the Atomic Games. The Atomic Games is an event that we host in all of our offices. Participants sign up in 2-person teams, and create a real-time strategy game, Artificial Intelligence. We then have the teams participate in a tournament, and the winning team wins the cash prize. So basically, folks come, they build an AI that can work with some game board, and then my AI could play your AI. Kind of get the idea. These are pictures from our 2016 event. The challenge that year was Connect 4. You can kind of see the game board, and like the red and the teal team are playing there. So we created a visual game board, and the participants needed to create the artificial intelligence that could play the game. So the winning AI would advance to the next round of the tournament. And if you really think about the Atomic Games, it's really a giant interview for us. The event happens at our office. You can see all these folks that are here. Like we're bringing in, we're getting maybe 50, 60 people that are applying, and we're accepting, 35, 40 to come in and participate. The event happens in our office. That really allows the participants to feel what it's like to work at Atomic. And we also get to observe how the participants interact with their teammates and the Atomic staff. So we learn answers to questions about these folks, like, can they effectively solve the problem, right? Are they collaborative problem solvers? Do they take feedback well when someone from the Atomic team critiques a decision they've made? Do they share praise for the work well done? A lot of times you might find a team where someone is just really technically at a different level than someone else on their team. And how are they helping lift that person up? Or are they just getting frustrated with that person and pushing them away? We commonly invite a subset of the participants to apply for a job at Atomic after the games. So we're watching, we're keeping track of the folks that we think would be really great fits for Atomic, and then we're reaching out to them to apply. The first year we hosted the event, we learned the value of being able to interact and observe with the teams. So the team that won the cash prize that year was technically amazing. They solved the challenge in a very novel way. Their solution easily won the tournament. Technically, they were an A+. But after watching them interact with their peers, like other team members, not their team, but other folks at the event, and our team members, we were convinced that we shouldn't hire either of them. They just didn't have the interpersonal and consulting skills to succeed at Atomic. So let's talk a little bit about the results that we've seen from the program so far. We've been running our accelerator program for 5 years now, and turnover is really a reality for every company. People leave for various reasons at various different times. And so we decided to hypothesize about this before we started our program. So before we started the program, we hypothesized that for every 4 new hires, this is just a complete guess, 1 wouldn't be up for the job and we'd need to transition in their first year. That had just been kind of common fare when we'd hired more junior folks in the past, is that some would make it and some wouldn't. And you usually know in that first year. We figured 1 would move on at the 3-year mark because they were curious about something else. Also a common thing, people kind of look around when they've been at a job for 3 years. We figured 1 would move on at the 5-year mark for the same reason. They were curious about something else, and we figured 1 would stay for their career. In the last 5 years, we've hired 31 developers with outstanding technical and consulting potential. 27 of those developers still work with us. When I calced our average yearly turnover rate for that 5-year period for our Career Accelerator members, we're just over 3%. So that's significantly smaller than we originally hypothesized. And 5 years in, we're seeing really great results from our efforts and patience. It's a simple fact that people gain more experience over time. And since our program onboards people in a metered and predictable way, we've leveraged time to our advantage. So let me demonstrate what I mean by that. So I'm going to show a series of graphs that outline how the Accelerator program has played out over the last 5 years. The title of each graph in the series represents the year. So this year we're talking 2016. The x-axis shows the years of experience for folks who have been in the program. And the y-axis shows the number of atoms associated with each experience level. So when we started the program in 2016, we hired 4 atoms in our Grand Rapids office. Outside of internships, they all had 0 years of professional experience. In 2017, we started running our program in our Ann Arbor office as well. And our 2016 cohort now had 1 year of professional development experience. You can see that in 2017, we had 12 employees that were part of the program. In 2018, we ran the accelerator in Grand Rapids and Ann Arbor again. We also saw our first bit of turnover. Someone from our 2017 cohort left the company. So you can see the number of atoms in that cohort dropped from 8 to 7. We also graduated our first accelerator cohort from the 2-year program, and I show that with the bar color change. So these are kind of people that are either in the program or have graduated from the program or been accelerated. And the green bar are the folks that have been accelerated. In 2019, we took a year off of the accelerator in our Ann Arbor office. The program had been being run there by one of our managing partners, and that was just a little unsustainable to do along with his normal job. So we took the year off and went on the job hunt for an accelerator manager specific for Ann Arbor. So we only had a cohort in Grand Rapids. We also lost our second accelerator member. That person was part of the 2018 cohort. In 2020, we hired again both in Grand Rapids and Ann Arbor. We also lost 2 more accelerator members, one from our 2017 cohort and one from our 2018 cohort. The cool thing is we now have 16 folks that have more than 2 years of professional experience that participate in our career accelerator. These folks deeply understand our culture, how we do business, and are already taking on leadership roles in our projects. Financially, the program has been outstanding for us. Approximately 45% of our revenue is generated by atoms that have participated or are currently participating in our accelerator program. So quite amazing. This number will continue to increase as we continue to run the program. Another positive aspect of the program has been our ability to increase our gender diversity within the company. Everyone has heard the story about lack of women in tech. We put some intentionality around hiring for gender diversity and worked hard to create an inclusive program. I think that paid off. Approximately half of our current and past accelerator members are women. I'm personally really proud of this work, and business-wise, it's been a huge enhancement to our culture and our ability to serve diverse client base. Our work on diversity certainly isn't done. Moving forward, we're looking to our accelerator to also help us enhance our racial and ethnic diversity in the cities we operate in. We've begun that work by making sure that we're recruiting from the right places. I want to close by sharing some lessons learned and then take some questions. So over the last 5 years, we've learned a whole lot about this, and I'm going to share 4 key lessons learned. So the first is we do pay for service projects. And I speculated with less experienced teams, we'd make more mistakes on those projects and need to help out those projects financially. What I found is this hasn't been the case. Clients have been happier than ever with our teams, and just the results have been outstanding of the work that's been done. Next, I'm going to discuss a little bit about cohort affinity. I expected our cohorts to have stronger affinity to each other than the company. I was thinking we would have like kind of varsity jacket level branding for our cohorts. Like it'd be this tight group of people that came in together and they had their identity. We're like the cohort of 2017, right? Once again, I was wrong on that. The cohorts certainly like each other, but their relationships are much deeper with the broader organization. And I suspect this is due to the fact that they're all working on different client projects with different team members. So I would say they have more company affinity than cohort affinity. In retrospect, I'm happy that this is the case, but it isn't exactly what I expected. Next, let's discuss cultural impact. I hypothesized that the accelerator program would enhance our already strong culture, and I was mostly correct on this one. But the impact was even larger than I expected. Like I stated earlier in the presentation, the Accelerator enhances our teach and learn value. And the Accelerator program really puts smart, curious, energetic, and inexperienced developers into our teams at a regular cadence. These folks are the definition of hungry learners. This dynamic has created a new purpose for our more experienced team members. It gives them an opportunity to teach and mentor. I've watched our established and strong culture improve over the last 5 years. I see more excitement, more smiling, and enhanced joy in our offices. And I think that's really a mark of something that's been successful. Finally, I want to discuss a little bit about timeline to leadership. I believe this is perhaps the most important lesson we've learned through doing our Career Accelerator. When we started the program, I thought it would take 4 to 5 years of career experience before someone could lead a client engagement. That's basically what we've commonly seen with lateral hires. I figured we'd see this standard timeline to leadership within our Accelerator members as well. I was dead wrong. Today we have folks at 2 years of experience that we trust leading engagements. Frankly, they're just doing really outstanding work. And I believe this is possible for a few key reasons. One, we're picking really great folks, but we're also giving them the right kind of training from the beginning. And that's not just the technical, but that's the soft skills as well. And they're growing up in our system, meaning like they really understand how our business works, how our processes work. It is what they know. It's how they know how to get stuff done. And I think this has been a huge competitive advantage for Atomic. I want to close my talk today by shining a light on my favorite part of the program, because I mostly just talked about the logistics and how it runs and how it came together, but I want to show you what it means to the people that join a cohort. So my partner, Sean Crowley, and I host an internal podcast at Atomic called The Cooling Tower. And during one of our episodes, we interviewed Sivan Sarah about her experiences going through our Career Accelerator. And I want to share a snippet of her realization about the program. So I'll do that now.
The key to the program and finding success is feeling ownership over it. You know, the program isn't like, oh, my accelerator manager asked me to come to this meeting. They asked me to read this book. The program is like feeling empowered to become the consultant you want to become.
I really love her quote, feeling empowered to become the consultant you want to become. We're all helping each other get more from our jobs than simply a paycheck. And helping really smart people like Sivan obtain that kind of confidence and ability to really own her career makes me feel proud about the work we're doing. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions that folks might have. Thank you so much.
That was awesome, Mike. That was great, especially after a long day of Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
I appreciate how you were honest with your struggles early on and how you work with others at Atomic to take control of your situation and shape this awesome program. Stacy Paul did have a question earlier. She wanted to know some of the names of the books used for the Accelerator program.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's an ever-changing list of books, and it's also like I believe the lists are slightly different in our Grand Rapids and Ann Arbor accelerators, but what we have agreed on is like a high level structure of like what types of topics we're going to hit on. So Stacy, I don't know the exact books that we're using, but Jesse Hill, who I believe is participating today,
yes,
has all of that information, and I'd be happy to put him in touch with you and share that information. He might have also written a blog post about the current set of books we're using, or maybe Dylan has, who's our Career Accelerator manager in Ann Arbor, but we can get you that, certainly.
Awesome. And while we wait to see if anybody pops a question in the chat window, I have a couple easy ones for you, if I could.
Yeah.
Is the Accelerator the only way Atomic hires people into its company?
No, it is a major way that we're bringing people into the company, but kind of like I had alluded to in the presentation, for our business model to work, we really need a good diversity of experience amongst our makers. And so we are still hiring, senior folks for, certainly roles like delivery lead. That's not a role we're hiring anyone junior into. That's a role that like maybe a junior developer could become at some point in their career. We're certainly hiring more experienced designers, and then also more experienced senior developers as well. Currently, we have open jobs for senior developers both in Grand Rapids and Ann Arbor.
Awesome. How does the accelerator program compare to what other software consultancies are doing for hiring? Is this a rare thing in your experience?
Yeah, I don't know of many other firms that are kind of doing this cohort model. Like I said, so it's interesting, right? I talked about how we wanted to be a 100-year-old software consultancy, right? So like when it came time to thinking about how do we hire and onboard, well, we should start thinking about like what other consultancies exist that are 100-year-old consultancies, right? And it's basically like law firms and accounting firms. Yep. And this is a pretty common play for those types of folks. So, I really like this idea of, can we decouple like kind of the acute day-to-day need for hiring to from like the when it happens. So, we zoom way out and we say, hey, this year we want to have a cohort of 4 folks in Grand Rapids and a cohort of 4 folks in Ann Arbor. And then we set out to make those hires, and we're usually doing them right around this time, making those offers hopefully by Thanksgiving. We feel like that's a good timeline. And then those folks are starting the next May, right? So then we have kind of from that Thanksgiving to May to find a series of good projects to plug them into. So we use it to really start to kind of work a calendar within our organization of how we do things instead of being maybe more chaotic and reactionary.
Yeah, this reminds me exactly what I saw when I worked at Warner Norcross and Judd, for how they would bring in the new attorneys. They were bringing them in as classes and then getting them involved right away in cases. So it matches perfectly with that model.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The other big advantage I found is, you're bringing this group of folks in together, and I said they had more company affinity, but they are still coming in as a group, and it's a group of people who kind of by definition are all at a pretty close to the same like time in their lives. So it's a good opportunity for them to do that together.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Paul may have put something out there. This sounds like a great program. Yeah. Something I wish was available when I started. Have you experienced any new hires that started the program and then felt the career path was not right for them?
We haven't experienced, this is a great question. I don't believe we've experienced anyone that felt the career path wasn't right for them. Like they all wanted to be developers. I can think of one of the people who transitioned out. I think they were looking for a more transactional type relationship from their job, and they maybe weren't looking to be pushed as much. So I think that's kind of the closest, Paul. Great. Like I said, we want it to be a prestigious program. We expect a lot from these folks, and we're also given a lot.
If this is the primary way to hire people into the company, doesn't that slow down the growth of the company?
Potentially. Like our goal has never been to like have like super explosive growth, right? So we have a very distributed model at Atomic where we have different offices that are kind of all growing at different rates. And in order for our business to work, those offices can only get so big. And, so if you think about, if you have an office of 20 people or you have an office of 30 people, like, bringing 4 to 5 new people into that every year through the accelerator program, that's a good clip of folks coming in. Like it's not it's big enough to be impactful, but it's not, it's also small enough that like you can absorb those people and, make it a really welcoming, good experience for them as well.
Great. I have one last question. I'm not seeing any new ones pop up in the chat window. A last question is a dad joke. Why don't eggs tell jokes?
Something to do with a yolk?
They crack each other up.
Ah, yes. Good one.
That's for you, Sean.
Good one. Good one. Yeah. So at Atomic, like a lot of our meetings, we like to start with a segue. And we've gone through various different segues. I actually wrote a blog post about it. And one of the, we started with like, let's just take a minute of silence to collect our thoughts, get focused for the meeting. And then those have changed over time to, asking kind of a, would you rather this or that question, to, I'm going to tell like a silly, quick dad joke. And it's nice as you're kind of like context switching from like one modality to another and get you in the mindset to like, okay, I want to be present with the people that are in this meeting right now.
Yeah, get you to smile and relax too.
Right. Right.
Well, I'm not seeing any more questions. So I'll just say, hey, Mike, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it as everybody else does. And for all our attendees, thank you for being here. It's awesome to have you pay attention and listen as well. For details on talks, please point your browser to the GLSEC website and then go to the GLSEC at home tab for specific information. Stay tuned and we will be announcing the next speaker shortly. So everyone have a great night. And we'll
thank you everyone. I really appreciate your time, and feel free to shoot an email if you have any questions. Always happy to help.